Alright, check. So, One Cut of the Dead is a Japanese zombie movie. Follows a hack filmmaker. Kind of reminded me of myself. But it's about a hack filmmaker who's trying to make a zombie apocalypse film. In order to get the perfect shot and create the perfect movie, he decides to introduce his cast to real-life zombies. And these real-life zombies start terrorizing the set. This is going to be a different review. I thought this movie was absolutely fantastic. I've heard of this movie previously. I just never got around to watching it, but I've heard great things about it. But unfortunately, it's so fucking hard to review this movie without spoilers. Because I went in pretty blind. And when I walked out, I was like, holy shit, I was not expecting that. So please, I know I'm desperate for views. And I know every minute matters, but please just turn off your computer, stop listening to me, go watch this movie. I'm not exaggerating when I say that this is like maybe top 3 or 4 best movies that I've reviewed in this series. I never thought I would say that, especially not at the tail end of Zombie-thon, but this movie was crazy. I loved it. Anyone who's into filmmaking at all especially should watch this movie. I'm not going to say his name on YouTube because of privacy reasons, but my high school drama teacher is probably watching this video, or I know watches some of the videos in this series. I know this is up your alley. If you're into filmmaking, this is a huge homage to independent filmmaking. So anyone who's on board with a good homage to independent filmmaking, go watch this movie. It's also a very small movie, so I'm sure they'd appreciate every view. But from now on, spoilers, okay? Get out. Go watch the movie. Get out. So you got your warning. I'm going to start with the movie review. And usually I don't even care about spoilers. I'll spoil a movie whenever. But I figured this movie is new and not many people have seen it. So what the fuck? I'm just going to give a huge spoiler warning. So One Cut of the Dead. The big twist is that it starts off like a found footage movie. And in my head I'm like, oh dear. I just watched Diary of the Dead. Do I want another zombie found footage movie? Then at the half an hour mark, end credits start rolling. And you're like, okay, where is this going? And then they completely drop the found footage style, and it follows these characters as they try to make a movie. And dude, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about this movie. That's how I fucking loved it. I'm so weird. You know? So, movie continues, and it's about the production of the first half an hour that we just watched, and how everything ties together beautifully. It was like watching a behind the scenes of a DVD, where you're like, oh, so that's how they did this, that's how they did this. In the first half hour as well, there was a lot of weird decisions. I'm like, why was that in there? What are they doing? Why are they lingering on this so long? And then, you'll see in the second half of the movie that, oh, it's because yada, yada, yada is going on. One example of, it's hard to explain because everything is so beautifully set up in the movie and so beautifully pay off. I can't just explain it like that. But, yeah, basically, the first half of the movie, you're watching the movie within the movie. And the second half of the movie, you're watching what's happening behind the camera. Looking behind the curtain, seeing what's going on. And it was such a beautiful, beautiful movie. Damn, I can't believe how good this movie was. Let's start with the positives here. So that first half of the movie, although I don't like found footage, it was all done in one take. So think of something like Birdman or that recent war movie, 1917. The camera doesn't really cut, it's just completely going the way through. And that must be pretty difficult to perform. And I was thinking that while watching the first half, and while watching the second half, it confirmed, oh yes, it is probably difficult to do. So we're watching like these characters trying to manipulate the camera, trying to duck under the camera, trying to not get seen by the camera. Although I don't like found footage movies, this movie actually made me understand that, wait, there is kind of a craftsmanship to that style. I don't think I'll ever personally like that style, but it made me realize, okay, there is some craftsmanship to it. And that's the biggest compliment I can give to a movie. This movie took a genre of film that I hate and made me realize, you know what, maybe it's not that bad after all. Amazing job, this movie. The whole cast is fantastic. The main lead in this movie especially, who's the hack director, he's really good at physical comedy. If you've ever been on an indie film set and you have the director trying to juggle like 20 balls at the same time, he plays that role beautifully. He has like such a pathetic loser vibe. And this movie also introduces a father-daughter subplot halfway into the movie. And you're like, okay, like where is this going? And honestly, they don't linger too much on it. They don't have that scene where the daughter is like, oh, Dad, you're always working. You don't have enough time for me. They have her come into play at the end of the story, and it just ties in together so beautifully. Honestly, this is one of the most clever screenplays I've seen in recent years. I've never seen a movie quite creative like this. I'm just at a loss for words in general, to be honest. This movie was fantastic. There's a few criticisms I have to give with the movie, because every movie has its faults. But I thought that the music in this movie was a little corny. And I get that there are some parts in the movie that were intentionally corny because it's an indie film set and they don't have quite the budget. I'm not referring to those moments. I'm referring to the moments where it's not trying to be corny. They would have like I wrote it in my notes, getting stuff done, Black Keys, rip-off music. So it's just like, I don't know, I didn't like the music in this movie. But look, that's the only criticism I can find with the movie. I love movies about making movies, and I think it's because everyone on set understands the struggle of making a movie, so everyone understands that. And I feel like it's easy for filmmakers to make movies about filmmaking. Yeah, I never thought I'd be seeing like a top zombie movie at the tail end of Zombie-thon, and it just came in out of left field. My review is not doing any justice to the movie. This movie takes so many twists and turns. I can't go through the movie at the moment, but please just watch this movie. It's fantastic.
カット割りなしのワンカット。最初から最後まで一度もカメラを止めません。
そんな無茶な企画あるわけないでしょう。